Ward 1 boundary decision by the VF Plus. Good day, residents of Ward 1. I understand that many residents feel frustrated. Service delivery challenges are real, and the idea of moving to Midville may seem like the best solution. But decisions like that cannot be based on emotion alone. They must be based on a long-term sustainability, infrastructure realities, and what is in truly the best interest of all residents. Let me explain this. Firstly, municipalities are not just lines on a map. They are complex systems made up of water infrastructure, electricity networks, sewage systems, roads, budgets, and long-term service delivery agreements. These systems are deeply interconnected. Even in areas like Rissiville, which have already been incorporated into Midville, they are still dependent on Emfuleni's infrastructure, especially when it comes to bulk services like water and sanitation. What does that mean? It means that even if Ward 1 were to move to Midville, the reality is that the physical infrastructure does not magically change overnight. Pipes don't move, pump stations don't relocate, electrical grids don't get rebuilt immediately. In other words, you may change the administration, but you don't change the system. This creates a very serious risk. You could end up in a situation where responsibility is divided, where Midville is expected to deliver services, but Emfuleni's infrastructure is still being used. That leads to complications, delays, or disputes over costs, and ultimately worse service delivery than ever. Secondly, decisions like this must consider financial impact. When a ward moves, it affects revenue, budgets, and resource allocation for both municipalities. If not carefully structured, it can weaken one municipality without fully strengthening the other, leaving residents caught up in the middle. Item A4957 clearly raises concerns around these complexities, and that is why it cannot be treated as a simple move and fix solution. Thirdly, we must think about fairness and long-term planning. A decision like this doesn't just affect Ward 1 today, it affects future development, infrastructure upgrades, and service planning for years to come. If the foundation is not right, the long-term outcome will not be sustainable. What I have explained above will be broken down into steps to explain the process step by step, so there is no room for confusion about my devotion to Ward 1. So when I made the decision to oppose this move, it was not about politics, and it was not about ignoring residents' frustrations. It was about responsibility. It was about understanding that a quick solution is not always the right solution. And most importantly, it was about ensuring that we do not create bigger problems for residents down the line. Ward 1 deserves better. Not just a change on paper, but real sustainable improvement. And that requires fixing the root of the problem, not simply shifting the boundaries. Thank you.